send up will keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous Old Dark Blues.
Well, good evening, everybody, or wherever you may be. Good morning, good afternoon. Hopefully here it's afternoon. Welcome to Blue Sunday on a Monday. I'm sorry I look like an orange Oompa Loompa. It's the lighting, and I've been out in the sun all day. If I turn the light off, you can't see me. So, and I'm here stuck on an island. You'll see joining me, it's not Vince Lochisano. It is DJ Rash. How are you, Rich, today?
I'm good. How are you, Joe? Happy to fill in.
Thanks for filling in. I'm very hot. I'm very bothered, and I'm just looking at myself in the screen, and I look orange. But anyway, not to worry. Hey, Rash, before we go on, just a big shout out to Vince. Vince is not in a very good way. He's had to undergo an emergency procedure today. Yeah, I do look like Donald Trump. So he's had to undergo an emergency procedure today. So he won't be watching now because he may not be out of anesthetic. But when he does watch, Vince, we're all thinking of you. We want you to get better. So hurry back, because Rash has got better things to do than talk to me about football. I'm sure that's the case. Anyway, hey, how are you, Rash? Anyway, you well?
I'm good. Yeah, good. How are you, mate?
Like I said, I'm just hot. I've been working. Today is the second day of the tour. I've been out on the bay. I've just finished snorkeling. I didn't realize I got so much sun, but anyway, maybe I'll do my best Donald Trump impersonations. What do you think?
Do it. I'm looking forward to rationale today, by the way.
Yeah, you've had time to prepare. I didn't have time to prepare the slide. But anyway.
No, it's all good.
Hey, listen, before we go on, Rash, just a few things. As you know, the Jumper Punch channel is proudly sponsored by the Sporting Globe Bar and Grill at Northland. I believe the boys had a function there on the weekend for the Carlton West Coast game. So if you haven't been there already, A, get yourself to the Sporting Globe down at Northland, and B, you should go to the next interstate game that they have there, catch up with the boys, Rocco, Mars, and Paolo, and every other person that you might talk to in the chat. And also, the Blue Sunday, I keep thinking Blue Monday. Blue Sunday is proudly brought to you also by my company, Retired Working For You Tours. You too can get an orange tan like me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share. On Facebook, you'll find us at Blue Sunday, and on YouTube, you'll find us at The Jumper Punch. Oh, that's a mouthful, Rash. So
Blue Monday is a good song, by the way. Very good.
I know. New order.
I was going to say the highest 12-inch of all time, just for information. Record.
Sorry, what was that?
It's the highest selling 12-inch record of all time.
Is it? I remember dancing to it at Inflation.
Oh God! I reckon we've got to get in. I reckon we've got to get in the man, because I'm so waiting to hear what he's going to say, Joe. Seriously, after that performance, I'm surprised you haven't even said anything yet. So you're just holding it at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know you've all been waiting for him. The irrepressible Mr. David Rees-Jones. How are you, David?
Hey, very good, very good. Yeah, up and going. So no, all good, mate.
Hey, David, before we go on, happy 63rd birthday.
Oh,
that photo on the top left's got to run a few times. Sorry, I just dropped something there.
David, tell me, how old were you when you had that picture taken?
You know, a funny thing about it, everyone wants to be on a footy card, and I got the training at South Melbourne, and I reckon I'd had about 3 hours sleep on a Sunday morning, and they grabbed me and said, "Come in, you're on the footy card." I've just looked at him, and I was still half drunk and staggered through, and that was the end result. So that was me at about 20 or maybe 19 years of age, and very hungover.
Yeah, you didn't look very in a healthy mood there. And I've put a picture of you in a Carlton jumper, at least taking a big mark against North.
Yep.
And I know you're a big supporter of the Prado Willie for your son, so I thought I'd throw one in of you and your son. Yeah, I think that's a pretty old picture, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had this is my third 21st. 63 laps around the sun I've had. So, yeah.
Wow. 21. And there you are, proudly with your Carlton scarf. So, do you have a soft spot for the Swans?
No. No, a little bit for the blokes. For the blokes I played with and whatever, and I'm glad they're doing well on that. But yeah, no, it was a little bit disappointing, I suppose, in the way that I'm a pretty loyal sort of bloke, and I didn't want to leave, and it sort of got to a stage which was ridiculous, and the silly thing about it was when I signed with Carlton, I got some phone calls afterwards, and they were offering me more money than they weren't going to give me in the first place, sort of thing. So it was crazy. It was silly, and shouldn't have happened. They just sacked the administration. Sacked the whole administration of the Swans who'd taken us up there. We never got paid. We got paid around about March for the year before. Every year, and you trusted these people. You trusted them, and all of a sudden they sacked a lot of them, put their own cronies in, and it just didn't end up well, and it allowed me to get out anyway. So and a great decision to get to Carlton Footy Club.
David, their loss was our gain.
Hopefully, yeah, I think so.
It
was good for me. It was good for me. You only want to be a one club player yourself, but. It got to a ridiculous.
I wanted to be a one-game player, let alone one club.
Well, yeah.
Hey, David, were you a Richmond supporter growing up?
Yeah. I used to have everyone in my family barracked for Carlton except me, and I barracked for Richmond, and that was through those great times, through the late 60s, early 70s, when that was ferocious. The Richmond Carlton games, they were. They were great games of footy and played off in grand finals. And Royce Hart, number 4. Sorry?
Yeah.
Royce Hart, I had number 4 on the back. And I loved the Tigers as a kid.
The Swans didn't offer you $1.7 million to play?
No. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think you could begrudge De Koning taking it either. I wouldn't, begrudge him taking it. I think we could benefit a lot out of it in some ways. And
we probably could.
Yeah. So that's something for another day to talk about. But, we'll see what happens with that one. But loyalty extends so far.
Exactly. Hey, Rash and David, there was an actual game of football yesterday. Believe it or not.
There was
quarter. There's the score up on the board. The Eagles 7 goals, 10, 52. Carlton 12, 14, 86. There's the quarter by quarter. We'll ask you a few more questions about this later, David, but we seem to be able to get away to a good start and then just fall apart. So we'll ask for your reasons if you know why. There's the stats. We won basically all the stats. Disposals, contested possessions, uncontested. Obviously, they won the turnovers, marks, hit-outs. I think De Koning did a good job yesterday. We made more clangers, which is great. More tackles. Our scoring shots were more accurate. Still only 46%, and they had more 1%ers. So I'm sure everyone's gone through the stats with a fine-tooth comb. But while we're here, David, what did you make of yesterday's game?
Well, you have a look at those stats, and they kicked 7-10 for the match. We kicked 7-4 in the first quarter, so they kicked 6 more points than we in 4 quarters than we kicked in 1 quarter. But it's the old story, Great start. absolute great start, and they were running, they were sharing the ball. Made a couple of mistakes here and there, but that's what you do. You know, good teams will make mistakes, and yet they'll, attack. And we looked sensational. We looked as good as we did the week before, and we've seen the same movie before. So I don't know what happens at quarter time. I just don't know what happens. Paddy Cripps was on fire. He was just bursting through and showing some of the form that he had last year in that first quarter, and then I don't know, he went missing after quarter time, and the team just, I don't know whether they relax or whether they just get into a different mindset or what it is, but I can't understand why you can't keep playing that way, why you can't keep running, keep sharing the ball. Look, West Coast, they were witches' hats in that first quarter, to be perfectly honest. They were terrible. And their coach, at quarter time, called him pathetic, when he was asked what he thought of their first quarter, and he just said pathetic. And that was true. And they were going to show a bit of pride, but they're not a very good team either. So we should have been able to steamroll them, and especially when you get on top of them like that. We did it last year with a bunch of kids, really, but a couple of injuries didn't help us. Charlie going off, and the other big fellow,
Hudson O'Keefe.
Hudson O'Keefe, yeah.
Hudson O'Keefe.
So we lost two tools down forward, which, especially with Harry not playing, and it serves them right, really, for not playing Harry Lemmy, which I've been calling for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and serves them right. So they keep playing the same blokes over and over, and no Harry Lemmy. Hopefully he probably have to play this week because he'll be forced to play.
Yeah, there's no other big man, is there?
Thing about it, because it's not as if he hasn't earned his spot, we get into situations where blokes are actually, we're forced to make selections and bring kids in and play them instead of encouraging them and putting them in on their form. And, I give Motlop a rap last week, and he went back and played the same way he did for the rest. Well, why do they tease us? I mean, Fogarty bobs up and kicks goals, and all of a sudden, I think in that first quarter we really did run them ragged, but you can't get carried away with that performance either, because West Coast, they were just not switched on. They were terrible, and after quarter time, I don't even know what the scores were after quarter time. They might have, been on a par with us, I suppose. What they kicked 6 goals, 9, and we kicked 5 goals, 10. They beat us after quarter time. Yeah, so they kicked more than we did after quarter time. 6-9, 5-10. So
Rash,
they outscored us after quarter time, which is terrible because they're not a very good team.
Rash, you mentioned it last week. Is it mental toughness?
Well, I think it's got. I don't know, and that's why I was speaking to Reese before the show. Is that I can't help but think that the coach has got something to do with it. It has to be, because it's mental. If you're able to be switched on for a quarter and then not switched on, then that means to me that the coach is not able to communicate effectively, or he just gets them in for a little bit of a, they get excited for a quarter and then they're out. I mean, it's so painful watching Carlton Football Club. It is really painful. It's sad. But then on the positive, optimistic side of me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Reese, is that I think it could be a tweak or two or something that if we get it together, we could be dangerous. So
and fortunately or unfortunately, we've picked up some injuries, which Walsh, he's 5 to 6 weeks out, sort of thing. Charlie, I don't know how whether he'll come up. Harry
he went
apparently
for scans today.
Sorry.
Both he and O'Keefe went for scans, so I'll be interested to see the results.
Someone said Cripps might be injured. People in the chat, I send you some Blue Believers on Facebook. Someone mentioned that he might be injured. If anyone knows, do let us know.
Yeah, look, he looked sensational that first quarter, and then just went missing. I think he only had 6 possessions after. Well, it might have been more than that. Sorry, I think he had about 11 after quarter time. He had 10 up to quarter time though, and but our midfielders were pretty good. Hewitt and Chera got plenty of the ball. They were able to fill in the void of Walshy not being there. So. There's some positive signs. I thought, Fantasia, he's sort of much maligned at times. I thought he had a pretty good first half. He went out of the game as well, which a lot of them did. They just didn't put 4 quarters together. So it was, it was a strange match. It was just a strange match where we kicked 7 goals in the first quarter and then hung on after that. Just hanging in there, doing enough to get in front and restrict the opposition. I think our backline did a fantastic job once again. I think our backline have been terrific this year. Led by Weeders back there. Haynes has been good. Jack Silvani back in there. We look a bit better when he's back there. I thought Saad was terrific. I thought he's energy and burst through the middle, open him up a few times. I thought our back line was pretty good.
Do they look disconnected? I mean, is that the best way to say it? Because they're not gelling. It's what it looks like after quarter time. I don't know about you. From your experience, when you were playing in a team, is there times my only thing is I'm just so surprised that it's been gone for weeks and weeks and weeks. So it means that
you have a look at what we were doing earlier. We're running and sharing the ball and lowering the eyes and looking at the best option and after that we went back to the way we play. Kicking to the boundary, kicking. We just didn't have any connection at all, and that, the run just stopped. Too few were really sort of one. I will pick out there was Adam Chera. I thought that's one of the best games I've seen him play. Every time he got the ball, he used it really well, and that's something for our blokes at the moment because we butcher the ball. We butcher it, and we've got some blokes who their foot skills are not up to the standard, and
are you going to name them?
Well, Bins is one, and I think that's what kept him out for so long. He's good at getting the ball, but Jesus, you feel like saying to him, just handball, give it to someone who can kick. Be like Greg Williams sort of thing, just bloody handball it and get 20, 30 handballs a game and set us up that way. But give it to someone else. I worry when he gets the ball in his hands, but. I think that was the knock on him in his early days anyway. But, it can hurt you, though. It can hurt you when you butcher the ball. It's hard enough to get it without giving it straight back to the opposition.
Reece, what I thought was really good? Chincotta. I thought he was clean.
Yep. And that's what we've missed too. We've missed someone in there. And especially early too, he got a lot of the ball. He got he got a lot of the ball playing that negative role, but
on Liam Baker.
And that's what we need. We need people who are willing to sacrifice their game to, that's what footy's all about, sacrificing part of your game for your mates who are out there. And he's one of those blokes who'll do it. He runs hard. He's quick. We really missed him. We've missed him.
He's tough too. He's tough.
Yep.
He's a bit like what's that redheaded guy? I can't think. I just had a mental blank. No, number 40. Yeah.
Cottrell.
Matt Cottrell. Yeah,
we've missed him.
Another one that goes in hard. We've missed him.
We've missed him though. We've missed his leg speed.
Yeah.
And that's really what because. We've got too many who go at the same pace, and you look at our midfield. We've got no, Paddy Cripps at one stage tried to burst through and just got caught, but we haven't got those players who really accelerate out of it. I thought Saad was good in that area a few times, but coming off half-back. But in the midfield, we've got, very little pace. Akers seems to be going up and down the one spot at times.
He labours a lot, doesn't he?
He's going okay, but he's not playing as well as what he has been, which is surprising. He should be really at the top of his game at his age right now.
That goal he missed also was bad.
What do you think of Ollie Hollands, Reece?
Well, he's another one he's going to turn. But Ollie Hollands isn't a bad kick, but he runs too quick. He doesn't steady when he kicks a ball. He thinks you have to be going 100 miles an hour and kicking the ball when you're going 100 miles an hour, and he just needs someone to teach him to just steady. Just, he's out on his own and he's running flat out. Just steady before you kick, and he seems and he can turn it over. He's another one who can turn it over, but he can have that coached out of him. I don't know what they're telling him, because when he does turn the ball over, he's normally running at pace, and that's when his kicking is not great. So he either needs to be practicing that over summer, running hard and kicking at pace, but also learning how to steady when you have got some time and space. You don't have to be running that quick. Just steady up and look at the best option and hit it. Because as I said, when he's not running at pace, when he's got the ball in a free kick or mark situation, he can hit a target. But when he's going at pace, he really struggles. So, I thought, Doherty was another one the same, turned it over a few times in the back line, and cost us. So
someone's so experienced, but I can't believe his turnovers.
Yeah, kicks it up in the air a bit too, and so just under pressure, I suppose. But and I'll repeat what I said. I'd prefer to see Doc in the reserves and coaching the kids and helping them along and giving us some experience back there. And I think we just got to look, and I've been saying this, we've got to start looking forward to next year. We're not in a position, and I think the supporters would be more encouraged watching young kids in there, Harry Lemmy, Ben Camprioli, Lucas Camprioli, these blokes coming through and getting some footy than watching the same old bloody movie every week. And that's how it looks at the moment.
I'm a big fan of
Jordan Boyd. Would you play the Campriolis? Sorry,
I'd play Ben straight away. Yeah, Ben was the better one. Lucas, had a couple of games early and looked okay. Probably a little bit light on and so forth. I don't know what the situation is with Ben, but I'd be playing him. I'd definitely be playing him. Get him in there, and get some games of footy into him. Get some, give him a taste of it. And it might be 2 or 3 games, and if he does well, then he can stay in there. But if he needs to go back or whatever, then so be it. And that'll give him a taste and a bit of what the game's about. Put it this way: that day, a bloke come in, have his first game, and had 31 possessions.
Yeah.
So it's And sometimes you're going to be forced to do these things, and it can make players. I mean, last time we played West Coast last year, we played Binns. Who was it? Cooper Lord got a game, and Ashton Moyer.
Yeah, that's right.
And they showed a bit. I mean, Cooper Lord's sort of gone on with it. Binns and Moyer probably not so much, but give them a chance. Try them. At least give their supporters a chance to see these blokes before they're gone. Because Harry Lemmy, if he's not around, if he doesn't get a game this year, he'll be gone at the end. I mean, no one knows if he can play or not. And he plays all right in the twos, but It'll be easier for him in some ways to get. He's going to have people kicking the ball a hell of a lot better to him in the AFL than he will in the VFL. Although saying that, we have got some shocking kicks in our team, but he is going to get a bit better delivery.
Sorry, Rash, you wanted to say?
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just seen a couple of comments here about Boyd coming in for Doc or Boyd coming in for Carroll or etc. Especially when we're looking for elite kickers that we don't have many of it. Boyd is definitely that. And I just wonder why this whole year he hasn't had no consistency. Like they haven't given him, either played him a
He was injured early.
Yeah, I remember that. No.
Yeah, he was injured early. So.
And he's doing well in the reserves, what I see.
Yeah. He caught that knock up in Sydney.
But he has
did he get a concussion? Was that a concussion in Sydney he got there?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So that sort of put him out of the team, and I think Doherty was coming back. I think Doherty had picked up 40 possessions in the reserves 2 weeks running. But I watched one of those games, and Doc's pretty cluey. He was a lot of 1-2s in that one sort of thing. Give it back to me. Yeah. So it was. I think Doc knows how to play it and get back up into the seniors. And but is that what we need? Is that what we need now? Looking forward, I mean, we've got to start looking forward. We really need to start looking forward and say, well, who's going to be part of it going forward? We've got, our top end when you look at it. When you got Wiedering, you got Cripps, you got Walsh, you've got Mackay, you've got Curnow, they'd all be considered A-graders. I think most people would consider them A-graders. You've got to build your team around that. How many A-graders have Collingwood got, at the moment? Probably Dacos, the young bloke down forward. Yeah, the young bloke down forward. Bobby Hill's in and out. He's a bit flashy.
Darcy Moore.
But not the way he's playing. No, I wouldn't class him as an A-grader. But they've all bloody do a job though, and they turn.
They play like
they turn ordinary footballers into blokes who just get the job done week in, week out. Something we don't do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Vince McMahon, I didn't know, the WWF president. Collingwood have people who believe in the culture. Don't know, maybe.
Vince McMahon, wasn't he the wrestling bloke? Vince McMahon was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Vince McMahon is the CEO of the WWE.
I think that's just a.
I didn't know he was a favourite of yours, Vince. Right, Reese?
No, I don't watch the wrestling that much.
Sports entertainment. Yeah, the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a Hulk. Someone up here.
Got a Hulk on here, have we?
Hulk. Then we've got Triple H. Look, we've got the wrestling. Vince McMahon.
Triple H is saying Rash trying to get a word in. Laughing my ass off. All right, cool. It's true. I'm trying to get a word in.
Go for it, Rash.
No, it's okay.
David, there you go. Enzo says,
I did a lot of wrestling. Yeah. Bloody oath. It used to bugger me, to be honest. You'd end up bloody wrestling blokes and you get up, you're knackered. You'd be rolling around the ground wrestling, throw a little bloody short one in here and there, and you get up and you're both knackered and you're going, what the bloody hell we do that for? Hey,
anyway. My concern is the way we're playing. When we play an A-class team, we're going to get smashed or we're going to flood. Yeah. Seriously, it's and West Coast and Essendon, with all due respect, that was like it was a training, it was like a VFL team. Here's the thing. I seen this on the fan cams the other day. Maybe we just need to lower our expectations. We're not that good as a team. So let's put that into perspective. It's 34 points. We beat West Coast. We might beat North Melbourne next week. And then like what you're saying, Reese, if we just start playing the kids, because we're not going to make the 8, right? Or if we do, we're not going to do anything this year. Let's be honest.
We're not going to win it. You know what we're going to start thinking? We're going to start thinking premierships and how we're going to get there and who's going to take us there. And we've got blokes in that team who are not going to be in our next premiership. You know, so why are we playing them? I want to see the kids. I want to see, you know, these kids get 30, 40 games into them and see what, you know, what they can do. Give them an opportunity. Yeah. I mean, kids also, when they do come into a team, they bring excitement. You know, I mean, it's really exciting for them, and you know, it spreads around the rest of the team. They're excited for these blokes and want them to do well. So,
but we've played a few kids, Reece. There's been a few. I mean, Carroll. There's
you can sort of look at it, and we're forced into a bit of it. Through injuries and so forth. So, and that's what worries me. It's more instead of going out on a limb and playing at Harry Lemmy and having three tall forwards, I would have had him down there with Harry and Charlie. Put three talls down there. You know, it's working well for Adelaide at the moment. It can work. If you've got blokes who can play footy, it doesn't matter if you're tall, small, whatever. If you can play footy, you can play together and you can be, you know, that can be an advantage for you, a huge advantage for you if you've got three talls who can, you know, all play well. You don't get set in your mind that you can't have three talls in the forward line because that's just dumb. You know, it's just dumb if you've got blokes who can play. So, I'll be staggered if he's not playing this week, and I've been calling for him for the last few weeks, and I'd probably like to see, you know, Ben Camprioli in there as well. We don't, you know, we turn over the same players in and out of the team. Our selection integrity, I think, is not great. People playing well in the seconds don't seem to get rewarded for it, and people continually playing average in the seniors just keep getting a game, and it's almost like, well, that's the best we've got. We're just going to stick with that and hope for the best. Well, I think everyone should earn their game of footy. You know, you should earn your place in the team every bloody week. And you have a couple of – I know, you know, David Parkin used to give us a thing called In Retrospect. It was about bloody 15 pages long. But everyone just flicked to the back where he rated Joe. And I think, what do you have? He had excellent, very good, poor, and very poor, or something like that. And all you did was went straight to the back to work out where he had you. And if you had a couple of poor games in a row, you knew your spot. You know, your spot in the team was in jeopardy. So you know you had to pull your finger out. We get blokes who play poor games week in, week out, and just keep getting a game.
Well, Triple H has said they always pick the safe option. Sorry to disappoint you, Reece, but Lewis Young will come in, not Harry Lemmy. I reckon that's true.
And that's terrible.
And I don't know why.
It's Harry. Is Lewis Young going to take us to our next grand final? If we're getting a grand final, Lewis Young will not be in the team. You know, and nothing against him. Nothing against him. I think he gets out and he's probably a little bit in the soft side, but he for a big bloke anyway. But you know, he's not the answer. He's definitely not the answer. And you know, he struggled in and out of, where was he, at Footscray before, you know, the Bulldogs before us, sort of thing. So
yeah.
You know, it's
I was going to ask Reece, Weeders last couple of weeks, not that great. I don't know. Maybe I said it differently.
Weeders.
What did you think of his
game? I thought Weeders was terrific. I thought he was fantastic on the weekend, to be honest. I thought he was really, really, you know, playing on the back line, you know how easy it can be back there sometimes, and you know how hard it can be back there. And he's a real general back there. I thought he was pretty ordinary the week before, but he had probably his worst game I've seen him play in the last 3 or 4 years. No, I thought he was very good on the weekend. I think I might have put him in the vote. So, but
no, because he nullified.
He's the general back there, and I can see it when, you know, the way he plays, the way he directs things, and so no, I don't know. Might have been watching a bit differently and a bit biased or whatever, but I thought he was terrific.
I think he nullified the captain anyway. I think he did a good job on that, but he's not. I don't think he was like fully starring like we've seen him play. I think he played well. I mean, he kept him goalless, and he didn't get a sniff of it, Oscar. So, and I think Savani was pretty good too, actually.
Well, he's had 23 possessions, Wiedering. It's not a bad, for a fullback, it's not too bad. So, I don't know. I thought he was good, and as you say, Oscar Allen didn't get a sniff, and Jack Silvani, he also did a good nullifying job on their other big blokes down there. So, yeah, they didn't have any forwards who dominated. The goals were going to be kicked by their mids and smalls. I
think one of their ruckman was this big dude. He kicked 3 goals. It was one
three
goal.
Goals. Yep. He went down there a couple of times. Williams, wasn't it? Was it Williams who kicked 3?
So. Yeah.
Yeah. So Williams who kicked 3.
I think this is quite true too. We always focus on individual efforts, not a team effort. But I mean, we're looking for positives, not I don't know what's wrong with them. They seem to come out like a bull at a gate, and then it's like just like someone flicks a switch and they swap the game plan and they all look buggered.
Yeah. Is that something where we have a game plan and then the opposition coaches against that game plan, and then it feels like we don't have a plan B or C? I mean, that's what it seems like to me. I don't know.
They seem to hang their hat on whether we win. I think we're number 1 for most contested possessions in the competition. I mean,
but we lost after half time. They beat us in the contest. This is West Coast beating us.
Well, they're the 18th team in contested possessions over the competition. So, but I think we get carried away with that too. You need outside run. You need, as much as you need the inside, you need the outside as well. Contested, winning that, but it's taking a lot of I don't know, a lot of the what would you call it, the gusto out of it, sort of thing. I mean, when you're getting all that inside stuff and you got nothing on the outside, it can take it out of you, and you can wear down by as the game goes on.
David, Adam Sard, what did you think of his game?
I thought he was good. Yeah, no, I thought he did well off half back. I thought he tries to, at least he gives us some run and some polish through there. And we just, I'd like to see Boyd back there actually, because Boyd's another one who can really sort of attack off that back line as well. I think Ollie Hollins does it. We can criticise Ollie Hollins, for various things, but I can tell you what, that kid has a go all the time. You see him just go, and he just has a go. He throws himself for the guy, for the size of him.
He's a goer.
He has a real dip. So I like him, and but maybe we need another one to help him back there. Boyd.
Where's his brother? Is he still out? Elijah? Who knows?
Mental health.
Mental health, mental health, whatever.
That's what they call it. Joey, this sounds like we had a loss, but we did win, and we should probably go to the votes. But we did win.
Yeah, but I think we've got to be realistic, and we've got to look at the team and the expectations that they give us, because we know what they can do. We know what they can do. They've shown us, what standard they can play at and what they can do, and that's why we get disappointed. That's why we can have a win. We can have a win against Essendon. We can have a win against West Coast, which we should do, because put them on paper and you go, who's going to win this game? We were I think against Essendon we're $1.40 or something, and don't worry about bookmakers. They know the odds in that and who should be winning, who shouldn't be winning. We're about $1.15 against West Coast on the weekend over there and on their own dunghills. So we should be winning those games and winning them very easily. And
exactly.
And that's just looking at the teams on paper.
Who was the game that we lost against last year? It was the turning. It was against GWS, if I remember correctly. And that was the turning point. Since then, we haven't played really good 4 quarters, except maybe one outlier was against Geelong. But in general, for the past 12 months, we've been pretty average.
Yep. Actually, another one I want to bring up, Mitch McGovern. I thought he was okay on the weekend too, and
he looked good up forward, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's having a bit of a dip. I think is his contract coming up at the end of this year?
Yes.
Yeah, well, he better start having a dip too if he wants to get anywhere near. He won't be getting anywhere near what he was getting, but if he wants to get a decent wage, I'd expect him to have a pretty good back half of the year, because it's amazing how contracts coming up can improve players too. Coaches,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just I don't. Yeah, but we are talking like we've lost, and I know we won, but again, it came back to Rash saying maybe we're expecting too much.
Well,
I don't know
why. They did it in the first quarter. They showed us what they could do in the first quarter.
That hype every year. They're marketing. They let them smell what we're cooking. They know we're coming. All this sort of crap.
But we've been average for 12 months. We've been average for 12 months, gents. We've been average for 12 months, except one game against Geelong. It's almost 12 months till
Geelong were off a 5-day break against a massive game against Hawthorn on Easter Monday, wasn't it, or Easter Monday game? And so you can. We had all the cards in our favour on that one.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks' time, we play North and then Port Adelaide, who are starting to play a little bit better, Port Adelaide, but we could be banging on the door of the 8 or in the 8, and it's sort of almost false in some ways. You sort of look at it and go, geez, how did we do that? How did we get in there? How did we fluke our way in there? The draw helped us. Great draw we had. Playing North.
Well, we'll be like last year. We'll lose in the first week if we get in. We'll just go straight out.
Well, that's what I mean, and that's why we need to have a tactic of looking at getting our next premiership instead of just bloody win it. Who cares? Win losses. Who cares? I mean, we're Carlton. We need to be number one. And
I think Voss cares, Reece. I don't think he'd want to jeopardize his position. More losses, susceptible playing the young players. His job's going to be on the line.
You get behind him though. You get behind him and you say, "Listen, this is what we're doing. We're going to play players. We might play 40 players this year. We're going to give them all a bloody chance. We're going to look at who can and who can't, and we're going to get some games in it." Because while we've got Curnow, Mackay, Cripps, Walsh, Wiedering, and these blokes, we need to build a bloody premiership team around them, and we haven't been able to do it. And too many of the same are getting games week in, week out, and aren't performing. And there needs to be a lot more pressure on the players who are in there to hold their spot. And these are blokes who've been around for a while. Played a lot of footy, and I'd rather see kids in there and start building something, and then you get the blokes, they get dropped. Well, what do? You pull your finger out, or you go and sulk. Go and sulk. We'll see you later, sort of thing. You pull your finger out, and then we'll get you back in there. And it doesn't hurt anyone having a run around the twos every now and then, but. There's been some bloody, good footballers running around and playing reserves footy over the years, and I
think Chris Judd played reserves once, also, just for your information.
One game.
Yeah,
The guy said we won't be seeing him ever again.
Hey, do you think Motlop will get dropped? Just out of curiosity. after that performance.
Pretty good game last week. So, I mean, the things he was tackling the week before, he was chasing, he was doing those things. He started doing it towards the end of the match. If you watch the match again, he started doing some chasing and tackling and things towards the end of the match. But the game was, almost over. He'd had a game that he's got to be doing that right from the start. He's got to, someone's got to whack him over the back of the head as he's running down the race or do something, get him fired up or whatever, and just say to him, look, this is your job. No broken tackles. You have to tackle them and hold every one of them. You need to be, get in their face, do everything, like good small forwards do. I'll give him the spirit of Carlton last week and actually said, this is a standard he knows he can play at, and then he just drops back to the same old what he was doing, every other week the weeks before.
Hey, David, I've just put up a quote. Someone said that in an interview, Voss said the scoreboard doesn't matter. Is that?
It was in the presser.
It was in the presser. Did he really say that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that in the presser because it's more about the system than the scoreboard.
Well, if the scoreboard doesn't matter, he should be playing kids then, and not these blokes who are not going to be there when we have got the window open, and if the window does come open for us. But it was only a couple of years ago we're up in Brisbane. We smashed them in the first quarter and thought, Jesus Christ, we're going to a bloody grand final.
We got hammered.
So at quarter time of that match, so players don't drop off that far, and if they do, then get rid of them and play kids. Get the next lot coming through. You just need to be putting pressure on players in the team, and twos have been winning. They've been having a few good wins and doing okay. So blokes getting a fair bit of the ball. Play them, reward them for their good form, and sack the blokes who are not in form.
I can't believe that a coach would say that the scoreboard doesn't matter. Isn't that all that matters? The win.
Well, put it this way: if you're in a team such as North Melbourne or West Coast or whatever, in some ways the scoreboard doesn't matter. So it depends where you're sitting, where the scoreboard matters. But this is the problem now. It's too process-driven football now. Instead of letting young, talented players go and bloody get out there and enjoy it, instead of you should be over there instead of over there, or let them bloody play. Let them play. It's. I can understand. I think when you're out there and you're enjoying your footy and you can take a risk or do something. Fair enough if you stuff up, get the kick up the backside, but geez, I'd hate to be playing these days and be so restricted in what you can do and what you can't do out there. It'd drive you mad.
Well, don't look like
good teams don't seem to have that problem.
I don't believe. All right. Anyway, I think we've said enough. Sorry, Rash.
No, go. I was going to say you're going to the votes. I'm interested to see.
Yes, let's get to the votes, and I'll get you to give your votes too, Rash. So, David, do you want to give us yours?
Geez, we've all got Wiedering in.
Good.
Yeah, actually, sorry about that, Rash. I was just thinking. Geez, I thought I'd give Wiedering some votes, and I looked and everyone's got him in there. Look, I had Adam Cherry as our best player, and I think Walshy being out really did help him. He was able to take that role and have it to himself, sort of thing. So that definitely helped him. But the best thing I liked about his game was his use of the football. He was I can't remember him making a mistake, and that's saying something in our team. We got a lot of them who butcher the footy, and he was terrific. So I thought, he was our best player. I just saw George Hewitt's name come up there, and I was tempted to put him in, but he did butcher it a few times and turn it over. 2 votes for Jacob Wiedering, who I've mentioned. I thought he was terrific. I thought he really led well back down there. Had a fair bit of the ball. And Adam Sard, I liked his run off the half back too. There are a few who could have gone in those 2 and 1 votes. And, Hewitt was one, De Conning, obviously. So, a few had reasonable games and let's hope we can go on with it this week.
Let's hope. Vince gave Wiedering 3, Chera 2, and Hewitt 1. I don't know how he got to that because he got just before his procedure. Like David, I thought Chera was our best player, and I think probably doesn't like playing with Walsh. I don't know. Maybe the added responsibility brings out the best in him. So.
I think just on that, can I just say something on that? What happens is because they're very similar types of players, and it's a bit like people saying, "Oh, geez, we shouldn't have got rid of Kennedy." You get rid of Kennedy and have a look at George Hewitt's here, because they're very similar types of players, and I think Chera, you'll see over the next couple of weeks when Walsh isn't there, I think you'll see him shine because he plays that similar style of game. That Walshy plays, and if they're both out there trying to do the same thing, you're basically getting in each other's road, or one has to go to another position. We saw Chera play half back early this year because, so I think in the next few weeks you'll see Adam Chera really shine, and he's a good footballer.
Yeah, we'll look forward.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in and mention that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I gave Jacob Wiedering 2. He really is the linchpin of that defence. There's a few people I could have thrown in for 1 vote, but in the end I gave it to Tom De Conning. I thought he did quite well against the 2 ruckmen there and tried to give our players first use of the ball. So Rash, do you want to give us your votes?
I would just say Chera 3. I'd give special mention to McGovern. I think he stood up when needed because, a 2, and then tossing up between Fogarty and Cincotta, but I'd probably go Cincotta. Because Fogarty had a good first quarter.
Yeah. So that brings us to our leaderboard. Patrick Cripps is still out in front. George Hewitt and Chera are catching him. So if David has his say, I think maybe in a couple of weeks, Chera might overtake Patrick. Patrick's sort of having a up and down season, isn't he? He's not his consistent self.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think.
And then, mind you, he's been doing it for years. Then you got Tom De Conning and Jacob. Sorry, go, David.
No, I was just going to say, I reckon if you're counting the best and fairest right now, George Hewitt would be pretty well in front.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Hey, before we get on to your Spirit of Carlton Award, LR has asked this. I have a question for all 3 of you boys. Do you really believe that we can put all our proverbial eggs in the one basket, banking on Graham Wright to fix everything at the club?
Now, can I answer this? Because Graham Wright is not going to fix everything at the club. And to be perfectly honest, not everything at the club is broken. We are off the field. The Carlton Football Club has never been in a better position. Never been in a better position, membership-wise, sponsorship-wise. Everything off field is just ticking along beautifully at the moment. And Graham Wright, where he will come in is his football nous, I suppose, and he would have been looking at everything around the club, but more focused on the football side of things. I mean, and that's that's what we want. That's what we want. I mean, obviously you need the money and everything else to be ticking along and everything to be going along nicely that way. And it is. What's happened there, Brian Cook has done a magnificent job. What we're going to get out of Graham Wright is, hopefully anyway, because to be perfectly honest, we haven't got much good to come from Collingwood ever in our club. I think Scotty Hotland, Heath Scotland might have been about the only decent thing we really got out of him over the years. But, geez, they've given us a bit of trash over the time too, haven't they? And you do wonder whether you know, and the pressure will be on Roddy too, because he might be another one of Eddie's bloody plants. And but no. Look, I think from the football side of things, he'll be looking at it. He'll be looking at the De Koning situation and the ramifications, not of losing De Koning, of the benefits that we can get out of it, and how we can really get some either good draft picks or good talent into the club, because that's what we need at the moment. You know, as I said before, we've got to fill ourselves up with better than we did. I think when the club went and got McGovern, Williams, Chera,
Jack Martin.
Yeah, Jack Martin. Was it one other or Sard? Yep. I think they thought then, this is our chance. This is, and these are the blokes that just, for whatever reasons, and injuries have played a huge part in all of those blokes, and in and out of the team. So it just hasn't worked. But we're going to get back to that, and I think that's where Graham Wright will come in, and from a football sense and side of things, I think he looks at that more importantly than the dollars and cents. And I think he knows you're winning games of footy, big club. He's been at Collingwood, big club, come to Carlton. When you're winning games, the money just keeps pouring in. And you don't have to do too much, if you're in the membership department or the sponsorship department or whatever, your team's going well, it starts pouring in.
Sponsors love winners, don't they?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now it's time for David's Spirit of Carlton Award, and this week it goes to... I'll play the...
We got it. Lockie Fogarty, bobbed up, and I've been asking for small forwards to do the job, and I give this award to Motlop last week, and I said now he's set a standard that, and unfortunately didn't reproduce it. Lockie Fogarty, I think he plays that negative style forward role, but you still got to be dangerous while you're doing that. It's no good just bloody run around following a halfback flanker around. You've got to be dangerous, and he did that on the weekend. He bobbed up, was in the right spot and a few times. So hopefully that gives him confidence to, be a bit more dangerous down forward. And it was good to see him have a good game, because our small forwards really have been quiet. And if you had said at before the game last week that we'd have 7 goals at quarter time, you'd say, well, geez, Charlie kicked 3 or 4 of them. Charlie only got 1. So it was good to see it was shared around with, a lot of other players. So, well done to Lockie. And let's hope that he doesn't go backwards next week like Motlop did.
Yeah. So, boys, next week.
North Melbourne, another big game where we can win it in the first quarter.
I love your sarcasm, Reese. I love it.
I'll be on a plane to Arizona. I'll be on a plane to LA and on the way to Arizona while this is being played. So
that's right. You're going to be away for 2 weeks.
I'll miss the next 2 weekends. Yep. I'll be back in the middle of the week after that.
I don't know if we've approved your annual leave yet, David.
Got no choice.
Not sure we're going to get much people watching us if David's not on, Joe.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, no, don't tell anyone. All right.
No, don't tell anyone.
At least the games at the MCG. I think we played pretty good on the MCG.
I was just about to say if that game was at Marvel, I'd be worried, really worried about us. But on the MCG, I think we play a hell of a lot better there.
Can I just say
we're gonna have a lot out. We're gonna, if Charlie doesn't play, Harry doesn't play, where's our forwards? It's going to Lemmy's got to come in. Yep. At least I'll know whether he's playing or not before then. Anyway,
Sorry?
The time, it said 1:20 the game. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. It's early.
That's what it says on the AFL website.
I'm just saying, it's like 1:20. It's an early game.
Yeah.
It was the one we had the other week. Was
Rash, it's called television deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed. And there's no more free football on Saturdays. That's so sad.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
So who's going to win and why, David?
Well, Carlton will win because we're a better team. Simple as that. But this is a danger game. And depending on who's playing, and look, put it this way: if Cripper's not playing and Charlie's not playing, you're taking a lot out of our team and giving a lot of confidence to North Melbourne. But hopefully we can get some players in there who can, get in there and play and do their stuff. But I think we should, we should be able to defeat them pretty easily.
Rash, what are you thinking? I'll put up some tips.
Look, I think we should win, but it's going to be another heart stopper. Maybe it might be like 10 points or something. It'll be just a goal and a half, depending on who's in and out. But we've generally got some more better players. I'm not sure we're playing great as a team, but our class might just win it. That's the only thing.
Maybe we should get the tips for quarter time. Oh, I reckon at quarter time we'll be 60 points up and just fall in.
Yeah. We've seen that movie, haven't we? You've seen the story. It keeps on repeating itself.
Like a broken record. Mm. All right.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit like that, isn't it? A bit like that. All right. So, David, we'll let you go. Are you doing anything special for your birthday?
Oh, no, I had a quick meal and that with the family before. So, no, mate, after you had 63 of them, they get a bit boring sort of thing. So you just, I'll just sit
Still off the booze?
Still off the booze, yeah. I might be tempted over in Arizona. It's 40 in the shade over there every bloody day. So, yeah, I don't know.
Do you reckon you might weaken?
No, I don't think so. I'm enjoying not having a drink, to be honest. I don't know if you can say that, but no, I'm quite enjoying not drinking and watching other people make fools of themselves.
Yeah, you don't miss the hangovers, do you?
No, I bounce out of bed. No, going good.
Thing. All right, well, David, we're going to miss you over the next 2 weeks, but have a great time here.
No worries, Arizona. Guys. Yeah, and hopefully you come back and we're banging on that door of the 8 or in the 8 or whatever after 2 good wins.
We'll be 9 and 7.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Well,
thanks for joining us, David. Thanks for taking time.
No worries.
And happy birthday.
Thank you very much. And go the Blues.
Happy birthday, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye. Well, we're going to miss him, Rash.
We are so lucky, Joe, seriously, to have David Rhys-Jones in on a weekly basis. Seriously. I mean, you can't get that anywhere, mate. Anywhere.
Yeah, I think we'll just have to not approve his leave. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. No, I think he's already booked, mate.
He's already booked. Hey, I forgot to put up the tipping ladder, but we won't worry about it. Rash, there were a few other games on the weekend, and everyone, please stay tuned because we're going to have Rash's rationale soon.
Which I haven't even thought about, but yeah.
Well, while I'm reading through the scores, you have a think about it. Right. So the games started Thursday night. We had Western Bulldogs 8-12-60 got Western Bulldogs 20-12 132 smashed St Kilda by 72 points 8-12-60. Then on Friday night, one of the most boring games I've ever seen, ever. And maybe the conditions had something to do with it, but by God, was it boring. And Hawthorn 6-11-47 defeated Adelaide 5-14-44. The AFL have that sort of stuff on a Friday night football. God help us. Then on Saturday, I only watched the Geelong Essendon game, but the Giants 17-5, great kicking, defeated the Brisbane Lions 13-18-96. So they won by 11 points. Then I watched half of this game, but I fell asleep in the second half because Essendon were more pitiful against Geelong than they were against us. So the Cats were 23-13, defeating Essendon 8-56, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer bunch of pricks, Essendon scum. And the final game, I watched the last quarter of this. The Dockers 10-13-73 defeated a hapless North Melbourne 10-7-67, who were very gallant. And North sold. This game was played in Bunbury, and North sold their home game for money. Anyway, it's a bit silly. The ladder, come on. We have the Filth on top with 13. They've played 13 games. 44. Second, Geelong on 40. Then in third, we have the Brisbane Lions on 38. Then in equal fourth position, we have the Adelaide Crows and Hawthorn, both on 36. In 6th, 7th and 8th, we've got Gold Coast Suns, GWS and Fremantle, but the Gold Coast Suns have a couple of games in hand. They're on 32, separated only by percentage. Outside of the 8 by one game is the Western Bulldogs on 28 points. Then there's a group of 3, Carlton, Port Adelaide and Essendon Scum, again, all separated by percentage. Then we've got the Sydney Swans, St Kilda and Melbourne, 20 points. Then North Melbourne, Richmond and the Eagles. I would say that even though mathematically possible, I would put a line from Sydney Swans down, but it's such a funny season that you don't know. Rocco, I thought it was played at Bunbury. That's what they kept saying.
No, it was at Optus.
Yeah, it was Optus, so my apologies. People are asking, get Peter Brown on. We will try to get Peter Brown. We will put in a phone call.
That's a good idea.
Yes, we will put in a phone call. Hey, so Rash, instead of Vince's verdict, Rash's rationale. Go for it.
I haven't really thought about this, but, I'm going to push the whole mental side, being a mental coach, mindset coach. But this is a rationale. If they get this going, because this year, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the chat, is that Curno's had a pretty average year. He's only kicked 20-odd goals. Harry McKay, I don't even think he's in the goal-kicking list. I think he's 10 or 12 goals. It's F-all. So, and Cripps has had a pretty average season compared to what he is.
By his standards. Yeah, by his standards.
So what I'm saying is if it starts clicking and those guys get form, we're saying that, it's we're not doing much at the moment. We're lucky with the fixture, and that's the rationale. But my rationale is overall, if something happens on the coaching side where he jigs it a little bit and those players are fit and start firing, and then we get Elijah Hollands back in, who knows in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We might even beat Collingwood.
Well, you heard it here first at 8:41, Monday, 16th of June. Rash has said if they get their mental right, we will beat Collingwood. And Altrim Shaqiri agrees with you.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, Timmy. Big hello to Timmy. He's the owner of Howlers, where the Jumper Punch is going to do their event. And he's a mad Carlton supporter. So big hello to him.
Fantastic.
So that's the rationale.
Hey, and I'm sure people out there, if you want to make a comment, please do. We normally have a segment now, Big Vincenza's Bet of the Week. I put on the bet last week, and of course, I won, right?
As you do.
As I do. So this week, we've gone back to Vince, and he must have been high on morphine or something, because have a look at this bet. He's gone the 5-leg multi. He's gone Fremantle to win, $1.23. Geelong to win, $1.44.
Yeah.
Carlton to win, $1.25. Collingwood to win, $1.17. And the Western Bulldogs to win at $1.05. So for these 5 legs to get up, we will win for a $20 outlay, $55. So, like I said, it is ambitious. I think he must have been on some very good pain-killing meds. So let's see. Anyway, I've got us back into the black. We are $120 up. So after this bet, we should be okay. So, Rash, that brings us to the end of the show. So, on behalf of myself and Vince and the Jumper Punch boys, thanks for stepping in at the last minute. I know you're a very busy man, but we appreciate it and we love hearing from you. So,
I hope Vince gets well.
Thank you very much.
No, it's my pleasure. Happy to fill in. And I hope Vince gets really well. We're wishing him the best.
So do we. So do we always. And also to our viewers, you guys know who you are. I'm not going to go through you all, but our regular viewers, thanks very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So, don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Only grows the channel, makes it a better product for you. So on Facebook, you will find us at Blue Sunday. And on YouTube, you are all watching us on The Jumper Punch. the end already. Good things must come to an end. So on behalf of myself, Rash, and Vince, we wish you all a very good evening. We hope you have a great week. And don't forget, go those Mighty Blues.
Adios.